Okay, so we had another big night for AEW and NXT. We had AEW Dynamite on Saturday night, and then at the same time, you had NXT Takeover 30 going head-to-head with each other. So first part of the video, I just want to focus on the AEW Dynamite on Saturday night following the NBA playoffs. The show actually didn't start until 6:30, so they're about a half hour late. But yeah, you know, there was definitely some interesting stuff on this show. I would say match quality-wise, nothing really to go out of your way to see. But the first thing of the night was Private Party taking on the FTR, the Revival, and this is good stuff. I thought this was one of the best things all night. I really felt like this had an old school, you know, Brainbusters versus Rockers type of feel to it. I felt like, you know, Private Party got a lot of hot tags, but at the same time, FTR really controlled the match. They definitely brought a rough, rugged, old school type of feel to it. I just thought this was, you know, just a lot better than I expected. When I first saw this was going to start off the show, I was like, ah, but you know, just definitely good stuff right there. The FTR actually got the victory. And they're probably going to get the tag team title shot against Omega and Page at the All Out pay-per-view. It's not confirmed yet, but you know, judging from the some of the backstage segments that were shot, it looks like they're going in that direction. All right, so the next thing of the night, you had the Nightmare Connection teaming up with the Luchasaurus tag team. To take on Butcher and the Blade and the Lucha Brothers. This is a good 8-man tag match. It was okay for what it was. I would say Rey Fenix really stole the show. You know, Jungle Boy might have been the MVP. He actually got the schoolboy victory here. And then at the end of the match, you know, Butcher and Blade and the Lucha Brothers were basically, you know, arguing with each other. And then Eddie Kingston comes out and talks about, yo, we used to be on the indies together. You guys can't afford to, you know, fight with each other. You know, we need to appreciate the moment. So Kingston kind of comes out playing like a coach in that situation. So, yeah, but, you know, I mean, all I could pretty much say is I'm glad that Eddie Kingston is in AEW. He had a great match against Cody a couple weeks ago. He looks good, though. You know, he really looks like he lost some weight. You know, if AEW can keep him under control, and I just noticed like when Chikara made a comeback, I just felt like Eddie really, I don't know, just some of his behavior issues. You know, I remember he was getting the fights with people in the crowd, but you know, if AEW can control him in a positive way, he could be very valuable. You know, if he keeps himself in shape, you know, the guy could obviously, he could deliver a great match and obviously deliver a great promo when his heart is in it. So it should be interesting to see how long Kingston lasts in AEW. They could definitely use him. It's just one of the, it's kind of like if I could use a sports analogy, it's like taking a gamble on a very talented player, like a Dennis Rodman type. Like if you could control him, in a positive way, you could really get a lot out of him. So next up, you had the Elite taking on the Dark Order in a trios matchup right here. You know, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. You know, there's 3 members of the Dark Order. I'm not exactly sure, you know, which members they were, but this is just a good showcase for the Elite. You know, you saw vintage Elite offense here. This was just, you know, very satisfying to, you know, Omega and Young Bucks fans. But the ending was kind of weird, though. After the match was over, you know, Kenny kept trying to powerbomb one of the guys through a chair that was, you know, not really folded up. And it just came off kind of weird. And then the Bucks were like, Kenny, what are you doing? What are you doing? So it looks like we might be getting a Kenny Omega heel turn. That's the only thing you really take away from that segment. All right, one of the other highlights of the night was the Jericho Orange Cassidy segment. So Orange Cassidy's in the ring with the Best Friends, and Jericho comes out. And Jericho, you know, he came off very, not really that much like a heel in this segment until the beatdown at the end. Very manipulative here. Basically, you know, he proposes, you know, Orange Cassidy actually beat Jericho in the second matchup. And, you know, they're going to have a rubber match at All Out. And Jericho proposed that the rubber match should actually be a mimosa mayhem match. Basically, this match is going to be a situation where you can win by pinfall submission, or you could actually throw the guy into like I can't remember what Jericho called it, but basically it sounds like it's going to be like a tank. A combination of the bubbly and orange juice in like this tank where you can, you know, throw the guy in to win the match. So it was cool. You know, the Inner Circle came out, you know, you had Santana Ortiz, Sammy Guevara and Jake Hager, and they basically leave Cassidy, splashing all the bubbly. It was a good segment. It was really cool. Jericho basically said that he was the mastermind of the Money in the Bank match. Now he's masterminding another match, the Mimosa Mayhem match. So they got the video package and everything all set for that matchup right there. So that was a cool segment. Next up, we had a Darby Allin segment with Taz. Basically, Darby Allin squashes this jacked up looking black guy. Never heard of him before. So Darby. So Taz actually says, he starts trash talking to Darby, and he says, well, I got another guy named Darby. So it was a guy named Ricky Starks. He actually comes out with a Darby Allin, the face paint and everything. And then Brian Cage comes out. And then basically it's a big beatdown on Darby Allin from Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. I thought Ricky Starks looked good in that segment. I thought his mic skills actually came off pretty acceptable. So it seems like they're kind of moving away from Brian Cage and Moxley. You thought maybe that would be a rematch at the pay-per-view, but it definitely looks like they're not going in that direction. All right, so they actually had another match here. The women's tag team final. Yeah, the Nightmare Sisters taking on Ivelisse and Diamante for the women's tag team tournament finals. I have to say that I don't want to be too negative here, but if this was the finals, it just left me very underwhelmed. I don't know. I just don't think AEW needs a women's tag division. I kind of like where the women are at right now with Hikaru Shida. Maybe the women's championship should just be the main attraction for the women. I don't know. I just don't think you need to oversaturate, AEW with a lot of women's wrestlers just for the sake of there being women. But, it is what it is. I don't want to be too negative here. So Ivelisse and Diamante actually won at the end. They came off like heels. They were showing off the Puerto Rican flags. So that's how that ended. I just felt very underwhelmed by it. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but all right, so the main event, shocking main event. Cody actually comes out with the new TNT television champion. This time this is the first time I saw it. It's actually finished now. It looks great. It looks beautiful compared to the non-finished version, but this is just a beatdown by Brodie Lee. Mr. Brodie Lee looked dominant here. He comes out, giving Cody Yakuza after, big boot. He actually busted out some half Nelson suplexes, power bombs, some really stiff lariats. Cody was selling the beatdown to the point where they actually took him out by a stretcher. I don't think Cody got any offense in. They did such a good job with this segment that I was thinking, oh, maybe Cody did get hurt here, but it was definitely a work. This is good though. This is refreshing. I remember a lot of people used to, think PWG had too much back and forth. Like, give me a fucking squash match. And here you go. You got a match that was advertised as a main event, caliber matchup, and it ended up being a squash. It was just something different. I thought Brodie Lee looked great here. He's not someone that you could classify as WWE's trash. I think the guy is very talented. He definitely has a lot to offer as a heel. And if they do a rematch at the pay-per-view, it definitely gives. This is definitely going to give that pay-per-view a lot of juice. I mean, this was a huge beatdown with Cody on the stretcher, and Brodie going after Arn Anderson, and the ending segment just came off great. So that was AEW on Saturday night. Now I'll be back with a review of NXT Takeover 30. All right. All right, so we have NXT Takeover 30, and man, this was a solid show, very consistent. I thought everything on this card was really, really good. There's nothing that's must see. There's no matches that I would say are match of the year candidates or 4+ star matches, but yeah, consistently. Solid show. I mean, I would say definitely one of the most. This is probably the most consistent pandemic pay-per-view, if that makes any sense. So we start off the show with Finn Balor taking on Timothy Thatcher. This had more steak than sizzle in a positive way, though. I thought Thatcher looked great here. He really controlled the match, very methodical, but at the same time, just great limb work from him. Really working over Balor's legs, working over his fingers, his arms. A lot of great transitions into the armbar. It really got me thinking. Like, it really made me want to see a Finn Balor, Bryan Danielson match. Like I hope down the road those two do get a chance to wrestle, because I felt like Finn really, I don't know, I felt like this was just a different type of matchup for him. You know, he actually got the victory here, but still he really had to fight for it. You know, this was just. This is just ground and pound. I mean, this is not going to appeal to everybody, though, but I just really enjoyed the competitive, atmosphere that it had. Just definitely good stuff there. Balor versus Thatcher. Did they kick the show off with a bang in a very competitive, but not flashy way, if that makes any sense. All right, so the next matchup, you had the ladder match for the vacant NXT North American Championship. Damian Priest, Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes, who's actually Trevor Lee from PWG, if you guys have never seen him yet, Johnny Gargano, and the Velveteen Dream in the ladder match right here. With this match right here, I felt like there was great individual performances. I felt like the ladder match as a whole, I kind of felt the same way about this match that I felt at WrestleMania. I just feel like in this environment, that the ladder match, it's missing that extra oomph to really take the match to the next level, because I feel like in these ladder matches you really need to feed off the crowd. And but this was definitely good stuff. I don't want to overreact. I know a lot of people are going to rate this 4.5 or 4+ stars. I just feel like that's too high for a match like this. But you definitely had some highlights here. You had Velveteen Dream taking a sick bump. Very rarely have you seen anyone take a bump off the ladder into the crowd through a second table. He actually went over a table into a second table for a nasty bump. I thought Cameron Grimes, Trevor Lee actually came to play. He had some moments in this match where he did some vicious offense to Gargano. Gargano actually busted out a sunset flip, I believe it was, onto Damian Priest. On the ladder. I mean, that was pretty crazy. The ending with Damian Priest and Gargano, pretty good finish. I just felt like Gargano just felt a little bit out of place in this match. I just felt like, this is one of those matches with Gargano where I felt like he just needs to move on to the main roster, eventually. I know some people might disagree with that, but, eventually the time has got to come. I don't know. I just felt like he just lacked a little bit of a purpose in this match compared to a lot of these guys that really, were trying to make a name for themselves. I thought Bronson Reed actually looked good. I think it was Beth Phoenix, saying that, he would do the, Beast from the East proud at the same time he's wearing the Bam Bam Bigelow, attire as well. So I'm not sure. I have no idea if he's the son of Bam Bam Bigelow, but he looked very impressive out there. I just thought this was a solid ladder match, but I'm not going to overreact and say that this is, one of the best multi-man ladder matches that we've ever seen. But, you could argue that this definitely had the, entertainment-wise, it was the match of the night. I just don't see myself going back to a ladder match like this. But I think everyone will definitely enjoy it if you get a chance to watch it. Adam Cole and Pat McAfee definitely surprised me. For as big of a sports fan as I am, I'm not very familiar with Pat McAfee. I understand he played in the NFL. I understand that he was roommates with Baron Corbin at a certain point. But this guy, Pat McAfee, got a great personality. Whatever they were lacking from the Gronkowski signing, I felt like they really made it up with Pat McAfee. This definitely had a good build up to it with the altercation on the radio show. I thought McAfee came to play, though. He actually surprised me. I mean, Cole even looked a little bit shocked at some of Pat McAfee's offense. He was kind of taken aback by it. There was a point where Cole actually knocked him off the top rope, and he actually landed on his feet after, moonsaulting. I thought that was pretty cool. And then he does the Shelton Benjamin spot where he actually jumps up onto the top turnbuckle and does a Falcon Arrow. So he really shocked a lot of people. I thought he gave a great effort in terms of his athleticism, in terms of his personality too. It just came off really well. And then there was some good altercations between the Undisputed Era and the brand on the outside to kind of, help these guys out a little bit. Because, obviously when you don't have that much experience, I felt like some of the stuff that they did on the outside really came into play. But yeah, just definitely good stuff. Cole still goes over with the, Panama Sunrise Canadian Destroyer. But, McAfee actually surprised people. This was definitely not the worst. I mean, you could argue it being the worst match of the night, but it was still good. It was still, I would say it's a solid 3.5-star match, without a doubt. All right, next up, you had Io Shirai defending the belt against Dakota Kai. Singles match for the NXT Women's Championship. To me, this is the match of the night. I mean, I really think it's arguable. I think you could argue for all 5 of these matches, but I just felt like this was very competitive, not very pretty. Dakota came off like a great heel here. I really think she did. There was a nasty looking, Yakuza to the referee. It caused a huge referee bump, and then Raquel Gonzalez got involved and hit Io Shirai with a power bomb. Io really fought off the interference quite well. She busted out some beautiful moonsaults. There was a couple of just really, really good near falls after the first moonsault kick out there. And then, Io Shirai successfully retains. And then Rhea Ripley actually comes out and does a stare down with Raquel Gonzalez. But I guess, down the road, Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai, that's definitely a match I think a lot of people want to see. But this is a good performance from Dakota. She got a lot of attention with the Tegan Nox beatdown. But the storyline was good. The tension was good. Even Io Shirai's mic work that was edited in the video package actually came off really good here. Just very, very competitive, and just a good babyface versus heel match right there. Io Shirai, very, very talented. I mean, it's debatable right now who's the better wrestler, Io Shirai or Hikaru Shida. That's a dream match that will probably never happen in the immediate future. But it's interesting how NXT and AEW both have a very talented Japanese women's wrestler as their champions right now. So that was cool. All right, so the next match of the night, very shocking. We have Keith Lee taking on Karrion Kross for the NXT championship. I really wasn't that excited about the match. The build-up was very... it had a very sports entertainment type of feel with the video package with Karrion Kross and the hourglass and all the evil-looking shots of her, of Scarlett and Karrion Kross here. You would have expected Keith Lee to retain in his first blockbuster pay-per-view match, but it definitely wasn't the case. Karrion Kross really kind of dominated this match. It just felt like Keith Lee just couldn't, build momentum. There were some great facial expressions from Keith Lee by the barricade. The match definitely had its moments. But overall, Karrion Kross really kind of, he wasn't out to win any popularity contests with any of the indie marks. He just really went for the kill, just very methodical. The ending. He hit a beautiful lariat, then he hit a series of Saito suplexes. Eventually he hit the backdrop driver Saito suplex off the second turnbuckle to put Keith Lee away. I was kind of shocked that he won in that fashion. But when you think about it, this is a character that they're putting a lot of effort into, especially with Scarlett. You just get the feeling that the Karrion Kross character, this is just one of those characters that they feel maybe just needs the championship to really, get to the next level. So it doesn't surprise me. It's kind of like the same thing with, how many, obviously JBL comes to mind, Jinder Mahal comes to mind. Anytime you want to establish these new heels, it's not shocking that they win the championship so quickly. I mean, that's a lot of times that's what they do with these new heel characters that are a little bit over the top in terms of presentation. So yeah, I wouldn't say this is the end of Keith Lee at all. I think it makes you want to see Keith Lee win it back. But this wasn't Keith Lee's best performance. Like it just kind of felt like he just couldn't build any momentum in this match. He just couldn't get it going. But yeah, sometimes that happens. It doesn't necessarily totally shock me, given the nature of this Karrion Kross character. But that's pretty much it, guys. Yeah, NXT Takeover 30, another solid show. I would say consistently good show, but still. I think a lot of people feel the same way. These pandemic shows, they can only go so far. They're not going to reach that amazing level. And it's pretty much the same case with this show right here. Pretty good night for both AEW and NXT. You had two shocking title changes, though, with Brodie Lee winning the AEW Television Championship and then Karrion Kross winning the NXT Championship. Very, very shocking. I don't think anyone would have predicted both happening in the same night, but it did. And hopefully I'll see you guys for SummerSlam. All right.